AITA. I rehomed my daughter's dog. I, 60F, have a daughter, 28F, who we will call May. May lives with me along with her large dog. Now here is the issue. May is self-diagnosed. I can't say, let alone won't say exactly what it is, but as far as I am concerned, all she has is a classic case of depression. She moved in with me when this all started, and I had no qualms under the condition that she maintain a job, save her money to get back on her feet, and see a therapist or find some sort of way to help manage it. For the past 6 months she has called off work, taken sick and vacation day after day, and I am pretty sure she is pretty close to losing her job. She saw a therapist for a few weeks but hasn't been back since, and since she has used up her sick leave, I am the one paying for it because her insurance won't cover this particular therapist. Her bedroom is a mess. There is garbage everywhere, dirty dishes, stains, food scraps, and her laundry is just disgusting. I have tried to help when I can, like doing her laundry, but at almost 30 I would expect someone to be able to clean up after themselves. Now onto the real issue. May has a 4-year-old dog. The dog is nice enough, but it's very large and very strong. Whatever the breed is, it requires a lot of exercise, to which May has been slacking in. This is leading to the dog to become very destructive, chewing on the furniture, tearing the pillows and couch, and reliving itself everywhere. I still work, I am gone all day. I am not home to watch or walk this dog, May is. I have told her time and time again that she needs to take care of the dog, she needs to walk the dog, she needs to exercise the dog because I can't. I physically cannot. Her response is the same. I can't, I have depression, or a similar response but with the same underlying meaning. This is where I might be the awe. After coming home yesterday night, the dog had made a complete mess in the living room, but the final straw was the fact the dog had torn up my brand new couch. I was livid. I had given her one too many chances and opportunities, but this was it. I called up the neighbor boys, loaded the dog into the car, and took it to the nearest shelter. After coming home a few hours later, May decides to make an appearance to ask where her dog is, and I told her. Cue the screaming match. I was accused I could have done more for the dog, and if I really loved her and understood her situation, I would have just took care of the dog while she took care of herself. She has now locked herself in her room and is refusing to come out, claiming what I did was redeemable and everyone will know what a monster I was, and proceed to call up the whole family, dragging them into this nonsense. Now the whole family is involved and divided on this. Am I the asshole? Edit. For those of you commenting, the dog is legally mine. It's my name on the papers, and it's my name on the vet bills. She wanted a dog and I didn't have an issue. Now I do when it's in my home, destroying everything I own. Depression is not an excuse for your daughter to keep herself in the conditions you described. It is your house and you are not obligated to let her keep it filthy due to depression. So clean it, I doubt she will, and make certain she keeps it clean. Secondly, you tried to get her to walk the dog, feed it and care for it, but she responded, I can't, I have depression. So you are not in the wrong for sending the dog to a shelter. It's better for the dog and yourself that way. If depression was going to keep her from being a responsible dog owner, she shouldn't be throwing a tantrum over this outcome. Depression is a very real condition, but it sounds like your daughter is just using the label to shirk her responsibilities. Not the asshole. I know people suffer from depression and sometimes it takes all the will you have to just get out of the bed. Your daughter is lucky that you are providing her shelter. Even in her state, she should respect the boundaries that comes with staying with someone else. If she is not able to take care of the dog, then it's not your responsibility as well. It's already mentally draining to take care of an adult up with depression. You don't have to come home from work and take care of the dog as well. Hope your daughter feels better, but clearly you are not the asshole. If this was a no-kill shelter and if everything else you added in comments is true, not the asshole. She can't care for the dog, because she's ill. You can't care for the dog, because you have to work, it's not physically possible. The dog deserves better. If you warned her and gave her chances to alleviate the problem and she didn't, even if she didn't because she couldn't, then this was a sad but necessary choice. I really hope that you took the dog to a no-kill shelter at the very least. Going against the grain to say not the asshole. I feel for May because I've been at that point in my depression before, but if you've tried getting her to take care of the dog and given her warnings, then I do think you tried your best to get things to the point where you could keep the dog. It's probably really devastating to her to lose her dog, but if she isn't at a point where she can care for a dog, then she shouldn't have one. Having a dog isn't a right, it's a privilege. I had to rehome my pet during the worst of my depression and it was a struggle, but ultimately I knew it was the right thing to do because my dog deserved better. Am I the asshole for telling my sister she is no longer invited to come visit me? My 35 female sister, 37 female, was supposed to come visit me for the first time this summer with her family. I'm French and I have been living in Canada for the last 6 years. I go back to my country almost every year to visit them. I have always thought my sister and I had a great relationship. She was the first person I wanted to see, the most important person in my life. We used to text and FaceTime several times a week. Last August, I arrived at my sister's to spend 4 days with her and my nephews. 1 hour after I arrived, she started complaining about my behavior during my last visit. She was not happy that I did not make her husband's lunch one day. I voiced my surprise that she kept her feelings toward this for a year. She apparently wanted to tell me in person. During the rest of my stay, she made me feel not welcomed in her home and made excuses to come home very late. I was hurt by this, but stayed because I wanted to spend time with my nephews. On the third night I wanted to talk it out with her because I sensed it was deeper than the husband's lunch. She spent 2.5 hours listing everything that she did not like about me, my behavior, my life choices, my personality. I was sobbing for the most part and unable to answer, but she kept on going, unfazed. Her list was going back to when I was 5 and refused to play with her. I've always been a loner, to our teenage years, and the fact she chose to go to school so far that she was only back on the weekends, meaning that she did not think we were sisters then. Same when we went to the same university and saw each other almost every day. She stated that we were friends during that time, not sisters. Later in life, she asked me to officiate her wedding ceremony and to be the godmother of one of my nephew. I sense that she is very disappointed that I decided to stay in Canada, and I believe that she started resenting me when she realized I was not coming back to France. She also mentioned that I was way too happy to talk about the promotion I had at work, and to let her know I was no longer struggling financially. She also said I should not call her that often and should wait for her to authorize me to call, by text. She basically went through every aspects of my life in a negative way. After our conversation she felt much better and stated we could finally start to have a real relationship as sister. One though we always had. I felt as if our relationship was a lie. I spent the rest of my vacation being sad, but also angry that she did not talk to me sooner but chose to do it during my only vacation of the year. When I saw her again on my last day, I told her I was really not happy about our conversation, that even though some remarks made sense, some of them were just mean. I finished by letting her know that since she did not seem to like me, she was no longer invited to visit me. She seemed very hurt and has not spoke to me since. Am I the asshole for canceling the invitation? Not the asshole. She basically broke you down instead of having a conversation. Then expected you to go along with her terms to be her sister. Not the asshole. Your sister went way too far. She basically told you that she's only willing to have a relationship with you if it's on her terms all the time. It's completely understandable that you reject her terms. I'm sorry she's awful to you. Not the asshole. I'd stay away from her. She needs to apologize and beg for your forgiveness. If she kept going while you were sobbing, she was enjoying it. Your sister is jealous of your freedom and lifestyle. She does not deserve to be a guest in your house. Her husband can make his own damn sandwich. Her goal was to destroy the life and confidence you have. Give her space. See her when you go home but not in your space. Not the asshole. That's the risk she took when she decided to vent all of her life's frustrations of you. It created a toxic, to you, relationship, and you don't need that in your life. Would I be the asshole if I refused to edit the photos I took at my cousin's engagement party? My cousin, Rachel, just got engaged to her boyfriend, Dan. They had an engagement party where they rented a reception room at a hotel and hired a caterer, bartending staff and a DJ. It was just a celebration, no asking for money or gifts. I'm a photographer. I do nature photography and not life events, people, but Rachel asked me if I could be the photographer for the engagement party. Since she's family, I agreed. It was a great night and the photos came out really well. The day after the party, Rachel and Dan said they wanted to talk to me about editing. I thought they meant the normal touch-up process after professional photos are taken, but that was not it. Dan has a sister who uses a wheelchair. My understanding is that she's been a paraplegic since birth. Rachel and Dan asked me to edit any pictures of his sister to her sitting in one of the dining table chairs instead of her wheelchair. They didn't want the wheelchair in the photos at all. For any pictures where it wouldn't make sense for her to be sitting, such as of people on the dance floor or outside in the courtyard, they asked me to edit her out entirely. I don't want to. I feel like it's disrespectful to Dan's sister. I have only met her once in passing, at the party, but I did know of her before this. She's an athlete and active in local politics. Even if I didn't know of her, I think it would still be disrespectful and wrong, but having met her and knowing her background, it feel doubly so to me. I told them I won't do it. I also reminded them that I am the copyright holder of the photos and there's clause our contract against having anyone else modify or edit my photos. I will give them a copy of all the photos I took as we agreed. I don't even care about getting paid, and I wouldn't be an asshole by withholding them completely, but I did make it clear if they have anyone else edit them I will take action with our contract backing me up. Rachel and Dan complained when I said no. I'd never have agreed to do the engagement party if I knew they wanted this. I asked them if Dan's sister knows and they didn't answer, but both of them are still furious. At one point Dan said I was being bad family to Rachel. I think he's a hypocrite, but I didn't say that. They will have all the photos and I thought I washed my hands of it, but both of them are still furious. My aunt and uncle haven't told me to do what Rachel says, but they've encouraged me to try and work things out with her. AITA? I will give them the photos and haven't even tried getting the payment we agreed to. I washed my hands of it. They are complaining about the photos not be usable because Dan's sister is in most of them. They keep asking me to change my mind and arguing that I'm not making them happy as clients or family. I'm asking honestly because Asperger syndrome makes things like this difficult sometimes. Would I be the asshole if I refused to edit the photos? Rachel, 31 female, Dan, 32. Me, 34 male. Not the asshole. No no no. What a horrible ask. Just know you are a wonderful human for refusing to do it. Not the asshole, and I think your thought process is honorable and very much justified. At the end of it, you are refusing to enable their ableist behavior. That is really disgusting behavior on their part. I can't even begin to express how sickening it is in words that wouldn't get me banned or something. Not the asshole, and you've been the better person than I might by still meeting them have those photos at all. Though really good to ensure they understand they cannot have anyone else edit that photos either. Haven't even tried getting the payment we agreed to. Info. So this was supposed to be a paid gig? Has no one asked the sister how she feels about it? Would I be the asshole if I don't reschedule my wedding due to a family emergency? I'm not sure how Reddit works, so I'm sorry for any formatting, or if this is too long, I just figured I'd share my situation and get outside opinions. My fiancé and I are to be married in mid-May 2023 and it is a destination wedding. Save the dates and invitations were sent out over a year ago because of the fact that it is a destination wedding, and we are aware those require more planning on both our side and the invitees' side. My fiancé and I met in May of 2014, which is why we decided to get married specifically in May, which is also why I don't want to reschedule our wedding as the date is significant to both my fiancé and myself. My sister is also part of my bridal party. Regarding the issue at hand, my brother-in-law's dad got recently sick and their family doesn't think this is something the dad will get through for various reasons, and they think the dad won't make it much longer, so my sister and her husband have asked me if it would be possible to reschedule our wedding, because in the case the dad doesn't make it, my sister's husband says he won't enjoy a wedding knowing his father is dead, close to dying, and or he would feel terrible if something were to happen while they were at the wedding. Both my fiancé and I feel for them, we really do, but this has been planned for over a year where multiple people have had to change and save a lot of their life to join us, and like I said, this month is significant for us. They seem to understand, but now my sister is borderline demanding I pay her back for the tickets, hotel and dress. I paid for all my bridesmaids' dresses, and for anyone in the bridal party we are taking care of their stay. The only thing they're paying is the tickets to get to the destination. Which, okay, I understand the tickets were for her, her husband, and 2 kids, but they're not the only ones making that expense. If this were maybe a family-only wedding, I think it'd be easier to reschedule, but they want us to reschedule until much later, until they won't run the risk of the dad. But this is something that multiple friends and family have been saving for over a year, and many have had to make changes or ask for days off. I don't think it's fair to change everyone's agenda for one emergency, which I know it sounds harsh, but this emergency doesn't even involve my husband or I. She says I'm her sister and she's my bridesmaid, and I've known her husband since I was a teenager, and how could I not want my nieces celebrating with me? And I again wish they would make it, but I can't change a date just for her. Multiple people who are important to us have said no for multiple reasons and we didn't change the date for them, so as much as I love my sister and her family I can't do that big of a ask. No one in the family has outwardly spoken on whose side they're on, but I know not everyone agrees with me and my fiancé, but they're not saying anything in order to not get involved. Not the asshole, you can't reschedule any time someone has a life event. It sucks for them, but that's just how it goes sometimes. And asking you to pay the tickets back is unreasonable. Not the asshole. Your sister sounds very demanding. Not the asshole. Couldn't she cancel the tickets and get a credit with the airline? It's very sad that they are dealing with a terminal illness within their family, but it is not reasonable to expect you to reschedule your wedding on their behalf. Your wedding is not for their benefit. Especially, considering all the other people who have purchased airline tickets and made arrangements for time off to attend your wedding. Not the asshole. That's what travel insurance is for. Not the asshole. Your sister is being ridiculous. Too many plans have been made by you and your guests. Too much money spent to reschedule.